Okay, I'm really sorry. I don't have the time because now you can see I was typing very furiously over there, so I didn't have the time to do a proper presentation, so I'm going to talk about this instead. Okay, so this is an extremely very dangerous chemical that it can be found all over the place. Do you know what this chemical is? Anybody? You can find it all around you. And do you know when this? Yeah, great, thanks. So of course you know I was kidding, right? Okay. Dihydrogen monoxide is water, okay? H2O. Yeah, and actually somebody did a very long paper that it almost went through, a bill almost went through Congress before they figured that out. And he made the case very persuasive. He said if human beings are exposed to dihydrogen monoxide for too long, they will die. Yeah, they will drown. And then, of course, it does increase traffic accidents. When it's raining, of course, it increases traffic accidents, right? So anyway, I call this bittersweet journey because this is my experience of learning iOS, and it's really quite interesting because the name already is cocoa. Because cocoa beans are really quite bitter, right? So only after you process them, it becomes sweet, right? So anyway, about me, I'm assuming all of you here can read. So I don't like to be one of those people who read every word on their slides. So I'm assuming all of you can read. One obvious omission is because I don't like Mr. Zuckerberg very much. Okay, so I just maintain one account, but I never add any friends to it. So stop trying to friend me on Mr. Zuckerberg's thing. I don't like it. It's just maintain just so that I can be part of the micro hits. Okay, so that's the other channel, and I'm probably going to open a Tumblr site because it seems that everybody, their brother and their younger sister is on Tumblr. So this is the kind of programming that I learned and I was used to in USM Penang. That was in 1989, 93 or so. So for you, this is basically, it's not basic, but it's basic syntax. So you see, when I say I'm used to this kind of programming, it doesn't mean that I cannot change, right? So there's several levels of going on in there. I hope some of you can at least catch the several levels. Okay. So I attended the training session, and predictably this was the result. Right? My apologies to the trainer. There was only one thing about the training session that kept me awake, but I'm not going to mention what it is because this is a family show. So I also downloaded some podcasts, and actually this was a very good one. This is by Paul Tagati. He is from Stanford, and he put in such a lot of effort that you can actually find this podcast on standard definition. You can find it in high definition. It gives you all the tutorials. It gives you all the PDFs, all the course materials, but unfortunately this was still the result. Okay, so I bought books because, like I said, I'm kind of old school. These are the books that I bought. If you want to know the ISBN codes and all that, it's really quite simple. One is the Kochan iOS book, Kochan iOS book, Google for that. The other one is the Stevenson iOS book or programming book, Google for that. And the one that I really, really appreciated and used more than the other two books is this one, the Big Ranch book by Joe Conway and Harold Taylor-Gus. So if you want to learn Xcode, there's only one way to succeed, which is this way. Okay, and this is probably sounds nicer than a blind pig finding, getting lucky every once in a while. So this probably sounds better. Okay. So in other words, you read the podcast, you don't understand the podcast, then you read the book, you don't understand the book, you go for a training session and rinse and repeat until something sticks. Okay? Until something sticks. And even then, it is, what they used to say about Unix where, it's not that it's not user unfriendly, it's very user friendly, but it's very choosy with whom it makes friends with. Okay, so and on to the challenges. Somebody explain to me why this is. Okay. Somebody just explain to me why this is. Every time I try to type in NS string, it completes as NS string. Isn't there somebody at Apple who is smart enough to actually figure out that when you're typing NSS, you're trying to type NS string and not NS string? Yeah, I know. What I want to do is some kind of heuristic algorithm that it figures out that I've tried NS string something like 10 million times and NS string never. So try and figure out what I'm learning. Okay? Actually, even my 80 ringgit Nokia phone, I think does better than that. I lost my phone. You didn't see the latest rant about radar or GTF?
Yeah.
Anybody on that? Please be on that. I didn't see. So anyway, the next thing, because like I said, I learned mostly procedural. The next thing is that I can't really get objects in my head right. Okay, NS object, because you see, the problem is because of language. Because when I hear the word subclass, okay, it seems like it's a diminishing of something. It seems like it becomes smaller. But actually, objects become better the more you subclass them. The more you subclass them, the higher the more powerful they get in a way, but the more specific they get as well. So that's why it's really hard, you know. It sounded like you're reducing the capability when it's increasing the capability. So finally, I resorted to trying to think about things like car. You know, when you think of the word car, you have this nebulous idea of something with 4 wheels, doors, windows, steering wheel, but nothing more clear than that. Then you can go to either Proton or Porsche, and then you can see that is actually a way of subclassing. So to keep it really simple, I'm going to use a MyMocha theme for the remainder of this presentation. So we have a roti canai, which is the class. This is okay, it's a subclass of NS object, or shall I say MS object, a MyMocha style object. So it's a subclass of MS object, and then we have the subclass of roti canai, which is roti sardine. Okay? And then that's that particular roti sardine that came to you, which has got its own instance variables. Like what's the temperature, how long ago it was prepared, whether the mama has washed his hands before he did it. That's probably a boolean. And the default value of that boolean is probably no. Anyway. Alright? And I hate this. Okay? I don't know which person invented this. Okay? And I don't know which person also invented the way of using the representation of arrows, because I can never get my head around that. Okay? I cannot get the representation of arrows because people will just show arrows pointing here and then they erase the arrow with a dry erase marker and point the arrow somewhere else. Okay? And the point about pointers is, okay, look at this picture. What is this picture? Wrong. All of you are wrong. Does anybody catch this reference? If anybody remembers, there used to be this very famous piece of art that is on Google. It's a picture of a pipe, and it says there's a sea nemha un pipe. It's not a pipe, it's a picture of a pipe. Similarly, this is not nasi lemak, it's a picture of nasi lemak. You can't eat it, there's no caloric value. Right? And that's pointers. Pointer is not the thing. The object is the object. Pointer just shows where the object is. So once you get that concept, things went a lot smoother. And in fact, I had to actually do this. Okay? Because it kept breaking my head. So even at the end of the day, actually, with the first few programs I wrote it like this. Okay? So when I wrote it like this, it became clear. Okay. And this also kept me straight when it comes to reference counts, of which there will be more later. Okay? So this is what I actually literally had to do, and this made so much more sense to me. Does it make sense to you? This is an NS set. There are 2 items in this NS set, but of course an NS set doesn't contain anything, it only contains references to other objects. So the other objects are stored in memory location 2 and memory location 3. Okay? And then this NS set, I probably use either alloc to create it, so it's got a replace count of 1. But the other 2 is using convenience methods. So if you use convenience methods, they will be put in auto release pool. So when I did this, it made so much sense. It became so much clearer. So anybody who wants to try going through the Objective-C programs for the first time, try and do this instead. I hope it helps you because this really helped me. It really helped the second class that I taught. So model view controller. Again, this is the thing. It's like, what's model? What's view? What's controller? Okay. So at first I was thinking, one of the examples that I saw was using a pocket calculator. So pocket calculator, then I thought, oh, okay, this kind of like makes sense. Okay, the calculator keys are objects, which are the view objects. You press the calculator keys, they got no brain whatsoever. Everything is sent to a controller. The controller will send it to the arithmetic logic unit, and then it does the processing, and then it sends it back to the display, which is yet another view object. But I choose to think about it in this way. Can you guess which is the model, which is the view, and which is the controller?
That's the controller.
Which is the model, which is the view, and which is the controller. Fun little exercise for you guys. Yeah, it's very easy to remember when you think about this way, because if you think about it, you never cease model, correct?
Yeah.
You're programmers. You ever go to see the mama is making the mama food at the back there? You won't want to eat there, right? So view never cease model. All interaction is through the controller. Except you got multiple controllers in the mama shop, I guess. So they are quite object-oriented over there. Okay, and this is another bitch. Sorry to use the word. Okay, because in the end I saw all the semicolons, and I saw all the colons, and I saw the square brackets, and I saw the nested square brackets, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. Okay, then I realized something. The way you talk to mama at the mama shop is actually very similar to the way you pass messages in Objective-C. Mama, teh tarik satu. Okay? Mama, teh tarik satu. So what's the object? The object is mama. What method does he implement? He implements the order method. And then I pass the roti canai method, roti canai object to the order method. He's got other methods as well. Cuci meja, kira, lupa order, that's his methods. Alright? And then of course when they come over from Bangladesh, they're basically NS objects. You have to subclass them in order for them. Okay, memory management. Ah yes. Right? Okay? Why you know garbage collection? And actually when you think about it, we all are so unhappy with this because we live in the mama culture. How many of you go to IKEA, eat there and leave the tray on the table? That's why you all expect garbage collection to be there. So if you take the trouble to put your tray away, it probably works better. So okay, so how I like to think about it is that you have a limited number of tables at the mama store. So if you're alone, and I'm frequently alone, I go there. I want to tell people that the table is taken, allocated. I put my umbrella or something, that I can afford to lose there, and then I go and order my food. So when they see the table has got an umbrella on it, retain count is 1, therefore it's allocated. If you come with more than one person, that means both of you need the table, and both of you go and order. That means one puts an umbrella, one puts his cigarette box in there, retain count of 2. So when you leave, if you have got to go early, you take your umbrella, retain count still 1. The second person leave, then retain count 0, then the mama can deallocate the object. Am I right? Of course, you're going to have 2 problems with it, mama stop being what they are. One is leaks. You put your cigarette case there, then you see your friend, you go and sit at the table, so you leave a memory leak there, nobody can sit at the table. Okay? And who hasn't kena premature deallocation? You want to drink still, you go and clear your table. It needs to be better. Okay? And again, that's why I say once I step through it this way, and I started thinking about things this way, it made things so much easier. Okay? Important thing to remember when you're doing memory management, I'm not saying ARC is bad, but understanding how memory management works is really good, And so it goes. That's why every time I see something, it will have a big mysterious word, and I have to think about it, and I have to think about it. Let's say for instance, this also confused the heck out of me. What is self, what is super? Okay? And then it turns out when I'm writing classes, self is what is in my class. Ini saya punya. Okay? Super saya punya boss punya. Okay. So it goes on, like delegation. I was thinking how to think about delegation. Then okay, if you go to any mama stall in Malaysia, you sit down, it is with the reasonable assumption that there is going to be teh tarik and roti canai there. Correct or not? If you are a delegate of the order of mama shops, if you are a delegate of the mama shop protocol, you must implement those 2 methods, roti canai and teh tarik. It's not possible for you to fund a mama shop without either of those 2 methods being implemented. So they require methods, correct? Right? So this is what I have to do all the time, and everything is a struggle like this. But I'm keeping at it, I'm learning it. You're laughing, guys, so that means some of you are getting it, or I'm getting it, So I'm really, really happy about that. So anyway, I guess I'm out of time. This is the contact information if you need it again. It's really quite simple. Shah@mac.com. I'll probably put the details on the post on the Facebook page. Okay, so thanks.